Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over some things that you can do in Grand Theft Auto Online when you are bored. There's a lot of hate towards GTA and it's easy to be a hater, and I want you all to remember that when you're watching this video. And I always see people saying, oh, there's nothing to do in this game. But the truth is, GTA is one of the biggest games on Earth in terms of scale and in terms of player count. And in GTA there's a lot of things that a lot of people have never even done before. So in today's video, I figured that I would show you guys some things that you can do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the number one thing that I have for you guys, which is, of course, racing. Now, within GTA, you can do races, which are, well, a little bit boring. Some of these are pretty good, some of them are kind of bad. For the most part, regular races are not that great. However, they are still fun to do, especially if you've never done them. And as you guys can see by the check marks here sporadically, I haven't done all of the races in Grand Theft Auto Online, at least on this character. But where racing really becomes fun is in the stunt races. I'm not really talking about the Blazer Aqua ones or the Deluxo ones or the Hot Ring Circuit, although these I'm sure can all be pretty fun. But the main races that I'm talking about are the stunt races, the regular stunt races. So the bike ones, the car ones, they are going to be really fun, especially if you've never done them before. Now, I get comments all the time whenever I talk about a car's performance. People are always like, oh, racing doesn't always matter. Well, performance kind of matters. I mean, obviously some cars perform better than others, and that's just the truth. And if you've never tried racing, I highly recommend giving it a shot. One of my favorite races is Canyon Crossing. If you guys have never tried this, I'd highly recommend it. Now, within these races, you can either be the host or you can join into them, and these are not going to pay you a lot of money, but they will give you some. So if you're the host, you can set the number of laps, you can set whether you want wanted levels or traffic on, you can turn custom vehicles on or off, catch up on or off, and slipstream. So I'm going to go ahead and start this race. Now, you can pick a lot of different cars for these races, and there are some cars that are better than others. For this race, I'm going to take the Pegasi Ignis. Now, it's not the fastest supercar out there, but it's one that I've never really driven in a stunt race before, so I'm going to give it a shot. Now, when you're racing, you can race against other players, you can race against yourself. Pretty much whatever you want to do, you can do. For me personally, if I'm ever bored, I will race just against the clock and try to beat my personal best. That's one way to do it. You can of course race against other players, or of course you can just use these races to test out your supercars, sports cars, compact cars, basically whatever you want, to see which one you like the best and which one is the fastest for you. These honestly can be quite a lot of fun, but I know that racing is not for everybody, so that's why this is a list full of different things that you can do when you're bored in GTA. This is just the first one. So let's move on to the second thing that you can do when you're bored in GTA, beyond racing. Now, the next thing that I have for you guys to do in GTA is actually something that I need you to stop doing, or that I would recommend you at least taking a break from. Now, I know the Cayo Perico grinders, they're getting ready, they're gonna come and they're gonna kill me for saying this. But hear me out. Cayo Perico, yes, is the best money per hour in GTA. And for some people, that is amazing. But for other people, like myself included, I cannot stand doing heists and I cannot stand doing Cayo Perico. Even though I know it's the best way to make money per hour in this game by a long shot, and I understand that, I comprehend that fully. So the Cayo Perico guys, I know you have the gun to my head right now, please do not shoot me. Some people prefer to run businesses in GTA. I myself am one of those people. I like to run my bunker, I like to run my MC businesses, I like to do agency contracts, occasionally I like to do CEO cargo. Some people are just not cut out to do Cayo Perico over and over again. Even though, yes, it's the best money. Yes, again, it's the best money in the game. But if you have money all the time, or if you're doing something that you don't really love all the time in GTA, it can kind of get sickening and it can kind of get boring. I have to reiterate this again because the Cayo Perico guys are occasionally tend to be a bit of a sensitive group, but Cayo Perico is very good for money, but it's not for everybody. Run your businesses, and you can say that Cayo Perico is repetitive, yeah, but the businesses are too, and that's true, but there's more variables with the businesses, right? When you're doing a sale mission, you might get griefed, which I know in the moment sucks, and it's terrible, and you could argue with me that there is never any good that comes from that, but it's the fear of getting griefed that kind of makes it a little bit exciting. It's like, ooh, I'm selling $1 million worth of bunker cargo. Like, am I gonna get griefed? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. And you're kind of like scared. It makes it a little more interesting. It makes it a little more fun. So yes, it's slower money. It's not as quick, but If you're sick of doing KO Perico, if you've been doing KO Perico for a long time and you're bored of GTA right now, I would recommend at least coming on the game and trying to run some of the businesses, whether it's just the bunker in the nightclub, anything like that. Just give it a shot and it might change how you feel about GTA. I know it's an old game, I know this, that, and the next thing, but just try running the businesses. Maybe you're the type of guy that doesn't actually like KO Perico despite all the good money. You actually like to run businesses and you don't even know it. That is it for the second thing to do, or not to do, when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online. I know this might be kind of a basic one as well as the racing. The next idea that I have for you guys to do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online is make some themed garages. Now I know this might be a really basic point too, but it honestly can be really fun. In these garages right here, I have a muscle car themed garage, which I will show you guys. Now I went out one day and I made this when I was bored. Ignore the Karen Dilettante in here. I know that's not exactly a muscle car. It's a fantastic car, don't get me wrong. But it's not exactly fitting with the rest of the theme of the garage. But one day when I was bored in Grand Theft Auto Online, I went out and I got a bunch of muscle cars and I loaded them all into a garage. Now, when I originally did this, the cars were actually different. Some of these I have added since. Not all of these were the original cars. But one day I went out and customized the Vapid Imperator. This is a car that not many people even know exists because it's an arena war car, and it's really cool. It's a really cool looking car, and I guarantee there's quite a few of you guys that have probably never seen this thing before. Obviously in the corner I have my Hellfire there. I have the Gauntlet Classic Custom right here. Actually, I think that might just be the Gauntlet Classic. It is the Gauntlet Classic. I've got the Dominator GTX here. I've got the Dominator GTT. The Shyster Deviant here as well. The Willard Faction, older muscle car, kind of cool. Obviously, I got the Ellie here, and then the Dilettante. I really don't know why that's in here. I think it's because I had to transfer a car, but anyway. But obviously, you can go beyond this. This is my JDM garage. This is full of Japanese exclusive cars, and I don't actually think there's any Karen Dilettantes in here, so, you know, it works. But I've got all my custom Japanese cars in this garage, and it's really fun to have them all in one space, so I can take my ass over here and go and look at all my Japanese cars, and it also helps to have it organized so that I know where all of my JDM cars are. And you can do this with pretty much any class of vehicle in the game. I have an SUV garage as well. As you guys can see, I keep all of my SUVs, well, not all of them, but quite a few of them in this garage here. And it's honestly just a really fun way of doing things. You can buy a brand new garage, and if you have some money, you can go and load it full of different cars. Maybe you already own the cars, maybe you're gonna have to buy some new cars. And you'll have to customize some of them to your liking, but it can honestly be really fun. So this is another piece of advice that I have for you guys when you're bored in GTA Online. Go and make some themed garages. This is really fun, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can have cars like the Obey Ricardo in there. This thing I literally got for free off of the street, customized it, and put it in here. Now, is it the best looking car ever? No, but I got it for free, so who cares? And there's many cars like that in the game. Obviously, I have the Bravado Gressley right here as well, which I also stole right off the street and got for free. My point is, there's a lot of things you can do with cars in Grand Theft Auto Online and with these themed garages, so that's a big part of the game. If you guys don't have any themed garages, consider going out and making some. It's honestly a really good time. Now, another thing to do in Grand Theft Auto Online that I feel like a lot of people completely neglect is to go exploring. For example, you can go to the store and purchase yourself a scuba diving outfit. Now, many of you probably didn't know that either, but if you did, well, good job, I guess. But you can explore the map. For example, underneath the surface right outside of the military base in Grand Theft Auto Online, you can find a crashed plane. Now, I'm willing to bet that 80% of you guys probably had no idea that this plane crash was even here. Now, is it the most exciting thing ever? No, not really, but it's something to do. You can swim around all over the plane wreck. You can swim inside of the plane wreck if you want to as well. You can see the wings, parts of the engine, all kinds of stuff, debris just laying around this crash. And it's right off the coast of the military base, so it's really easy to get to this. Now, there's lots and lots of these all around the map in Grand Theft Auto Online that are really interesting to explore, and even I myself, knowing about all of them, have not explored them. Now, this is just one of the wrecks that are in the Grand Theft Auto Online map. There are many more beyond this. And if you guys are interested in looking into some of them, I actually have a video that's maybe the best video I've ever made going over one of the shipwrecks in Grand Theft Auto Online. And I will leave a link in the description down below. and in the pinned comment if you guys are interested in seeing that video. There's many shipwrecks on this map to explore underneath the surface of the ocean, and there's many things to explore on the regular map as well. And if you guys have a Kasatka, which I'm sure many of you probably do, there's actually underwater treasure that you can go and find using the sonar on the Kasatka. So that's another thing that you can do underneath the surface of the water in this game. On top of that, there's also locations like the abandoned Mineshaft, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, but there's many places on this map that you guys can go and explore that are really cool and that many of you might not know about. So I would definitely recommend going and doing some exploring in GTA. There are some really cool spots on this map. And despite me playing Grand Theft Auto Online since it has come out, there are still some spots that I still discover when I'm driving around in GTA to this day. Go and do some exploring if you guys are bored. There's some cool stuff out there that you can find. And there's a lot of cool little mysteries and stuff like that that people have made videos about on YouTube. I would highly recommend going and checking it all out. Another thing that you guys can do in Grand Theft Auto Online is find some random cars off of the street that the civilians are very generously going to donate to you. Now, some of these cars are actually really customizable and really unique and pretty cool. And I didn't notice many of them until I started my YouTube journey, that many of these cars actually have some cool customization options and unique things that you can do to them. For example, this car that I just stole, the Volcar Ingot, this car can be customized to look like this, and yes, it's a pretty basic car. It doesn't have very many mods, if any actually. I don't think it has a single mod you can do to it, but you can make it look pretty clean. The point is that there's a lot of vehicles in this game that are so underappreciated by the community. For example, like this thing as well that just, well, passed us. Now, a lot of these vehicles have good customization that you can do to them, and you can make them unique. You can make them look pretty clean. Now, they're not going to be the fastest vehicles ever. You're not going to win any races with them, but like people tell me all the time, not everything is about performance. And to a degree, that is true. Now, on top of the cars that you don't typically customize or that you typically wouldn't put in your garage, there are also some really rare cars in Grand Theft Auto Online that you can acquire. For example, there's cars out there like the Benefactor Dubsta 2, which is a different car entirely than the Benefactor Dubsta 1. Now, they have about the same performance, but they have different customization and a few things that are really different about them. For example, there's also cars like the Declasse Tornado Mariachi that you can get. This car is rare because it has these guitars in the back and of course a mariachi hat, as well as a bottle of tequila and a Mexican flag on the back there. Now, there's tons of cars like this in Grand Theft Auto Online. There's the gang cars, if you guys haven't heard of those. There are certain cars that you can get that are affiliated with the gangs of Los Santos. And there's many more cars than just these. Anyway guys, those are a few things to do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, I know some of these options you may have already done. Maybe some of you have done every single one of these things. And for that, there's going to be a part 2 to this video coming out pretty soon. The bottom line though is there are a lot of things to do in this game beyond the usual stuff that we normally do, like make money or fight other players. Anyway guys, if you found this video helpful, useful in any sort of way, leave a like. If not, of course, feel free to dislike. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.